I don't know how many people would agree with me, and I don't necessarily know that this is the right thing, but I will stand up for every single one of my team members, and I will put them ahead of my patients.
Welcome to Investment Grade Practices Podcast, where we believe private practice dentists deserve to get the lifestyle today while building an asset for tomorrow. Join your host, Victoria Peterson, to design the practice of your dreams and secure your financial independence. Let's get started.
Hello, everyone. I'm Victoria Peterson, and today I am with the indomitable Dr. Maggie Augustyn. Now, if you don't know who Dr. Maggie is, you have literally been living under a rock. I can't open a publication without an article. I thought I was a prolific writer until I met you, and you're in like 20 publications a year. You speak on everything from emotional intelligence and depression and putting one foot in front of the other and the mental struggles and how real that is, particularly in this pressure cooker industry we all live in, into empowerment and living your dreams and breaking through those demons and limiting beliefs. Maggie, you have been inducted into the Female Founder Collective, which is a group of women business owners supporting women and empowering that. So I am here to celebrate you, 1, for being a dentist, 2, for being an entrepreneur, 3, for being a woman, and 4, for really riding the wave of the new paradigm we're in. Welcome, 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 Dr. Maggie.
Thank you so much, Victoria. And you have been, you've just been so tremendously important in my own journey. You and I have met almost 3 years ago, 2.5 years ago, and some of the conversations that you and I have had privately have really moved me, and I remember them almost every day. You've just allowed me to understand myself in a different space without the pressure of doing things for the wrong reasons. So I am so grateful, and I'm so honored to be speaking with you. And I just have a huge grin on my face if you can't hear it, but I'm just so excited to talk to you.
Well, one of the things, we're going to do multiple interviews, and everyone, you're going to see why in just a moment. But today, Maggie, there has been a huge shift in the world, right? The Me Too movement, millennials are now 40. They're not even the young people. So the generations behind the millennials, when you talk to them, they have such a different expectation about work and life and career and who your boss is going to be and how they show up. And we hear a lot of the downside of it, but you have found just a rainbow of opportunity with your team. And I think it is the most fertile ground for business owners today is to really take stock of what is my reputation as an employer, not just as a dentist or as a clinician, but as an employer. What is my reputation and what is my focus? So I would love to dive into that. What are you doing differently today to attract and retain top talent compared to even 3 years ago?
So we're experiencing a paradigm shift, right? Not just in the way that we necessarily attempt to find employees, not just in the way that we see patients because of COVID and the temperature taking and the asking the COVID questions. We're seeing a paradigm shift in terms of, where has everybody gone after COVID? Why are they or aren't they applying? What are they looking for? Now, back in the day, the way that I grew up, just because you were a boss was a reason to be celebrated, right? You're put on a pedestal and you deserved accolades and respect because you wrote that paycheck. This new generation, maybe it's the millennials, maybe it's a little bit of everybody. That's no longer the case. Whether they left the field and are coming back or they're new to the field, they're looking for something different. They're looking to live out their purpose. They're looking to live out their passion. They're looking for a reason to wake up in the morning, not for the paycheck, but for the sake of living, for the sake of, being a better person and moving us forward. And And if you can appeal to that part of the potential employee, then you've got them, right? But the most important part in here, and we can talk about all kinds of things because this is investment grade practices, right? The most important part here in my book is people over profit, not patients over profit, not just, production as profit, but people over profit. And I say this, and I don't know how many people would agree with me, and I don't necessarily know that this is the right thing, but I will stand up for every single one of my team members, and I will put them ahead of my patients. Not ahead of my patients' health, right? But ahead of my patients. I will always stand up for them because they deserve it, because they've earned it, because they're my family, because they're here for me. They're here for them, for my patients. And so one of the things that I do when I am trying to look for the best, money isn't going to do it anymore, right? The golden handcuffs are not going to keep you because everybody's offering a lot of money, benefits, all of that's gone up tremendously. And I'd written about it. Many other people have written about it. But when I write my ad, okay, so this is an ad that I'd written for hygienists. First of all, I don't title it "Looking for a Dental Hygienist in the Western Suburbs of Chicago." I titled it "A Love Letter to My Dental Hygienist." And
that's different.
And it starts like this. And each time I've posted this, I've gotten 600 hits. And it goes, "As a dentist, I often wonder if I could imagine being a dental hygienist. Just because I could perform an SRP somewhat effortlessly does not mean that I am capable of understanding the role of the periodontal fighting machine that is my RDH. An RDH that has recently been unfairly portrayed as a tooth scraper. Let me be one of the first dentists you've known to stand up against that statement. I welcome you. I welcome you as a co-provider, addressing and accessing the needs of our patients." And it goes on. So what are the chances that someone who is underpaid, undervalued, has little benefits, comes from a culture that they consider toxic, right? Of there being only one most important entity in the practice, which is the dentist. What if they read that? What do you think will happen? And I have a similar ad that I do for the admin person. And I'll tell you, someone could take this and they could publish it as their own, but the difference is going to be that I will work every moment of every day to live up to the promises that I make in there. And it's people over profit.
Absolutely.
And as soon as you start treating people differently, they know what's out there. I've had team members here for 16 years, as long as I've been in practice. And many of them more than 10 years. And as long as you treat them like human beings that they deserve to be treated, they'll stay. They'll stay for a long time, for a lifetime.
Yeah. That's so powerful, Maggie. I have goosebumps. 600 hits. I'm surprised you're not getting more. You probably had every hygienist in a 100-mile radius respond or look at your ads.
I've heard that it's gone viral on some social media. I don't know to what extent, but I'd heard that from one of the hygienists that I interviewed.
So what would your ad a few years ago have sounded like?
Looking for a hygienist Monday, Wednesday, Friday between 9 a.m. and 4 p.m., paying as little as I possibly can, no benefits. So you know what? I look at the ads that are available now, and there's still ads that they won't say paying as little as possible, but that's what they'll say.
Right. So there is this, for everybody listening, you can hear it in Maggie's language. You can see it on her face. If you could see her face, you can hear it in her voice, that there is this paradigm shift about the responsibilities of what a good employer is. And it feels like, Maggie, you are applying the same marketing tactics to attracting ideal team as you are the marketing tactics you apply to attracting the ideal patient.
Yes, very much so. And I think, as far as the ideal patient is concerned, it's much easier to come to work when you provide care for people that um, are willing to listen to you, right? Have a similar outlook on life. It's just not going uphill. Um, and that's just equally important. Surrounding yourself with people that are your people. Can you imagine what that does to the joy of your life?
Yeah.
Now there's always going to be, someone here and there that, you interviewed someone and everything went really well and they responded to the ad and you're getting along. And sometimes that doesn't work out. It's not foolproof. And we
Yeah.
also change and cycle during time. But yeah, those are surrounding yourself by people that are your people is the only way to live now.
I love that. I love that. And on the flip side of the coin, we actually, and practices that we consult with that have high team turnover, we can actually show them what it's costing. So what do you think? So for a hygienist, for example, it can cost the practice nearly $115,000 to replace that hygienist. Even if you replace them immediately, like within 2 or 3 weeks or a month of one leaving and the other one coming on. But that turnover cost of learning my systems, learning my team, learning my place, getting in relationship with the patients again, moving them forward with treatment, being productive, all of that downtime and that education time really adds up. And for one client that we were working with, sweetheart of a guy, great guy. But every once in a while, his temper would get the best of him and it would flow off the handle and become very unpredictable, right? And that team turnover, when we added it all up, it's as if he got 0 new patients for the entire year. So
Wow.
imagine that team turnover wipes out all gains for new patients.
Yeah.
Because the customer service becomes so inconsistent that you're not converting callers, you're not bringing them in the right way. Patients aren't saying yes. It wipes out the entire marketing budget. And it's like, whoa, that's what we're talking about here, that it is the engine that drives the train. So what are some of the things now that you're embracing your team as your, like, I hear you, I got your back. That's not just a motivational poster. I hate those, by the way. It's like the iceberg is up there and,
That's so 90s, right? Every
people leaping the Grand Canyon, I used to send those out, but they were all sarcastic spoofs of those posters. So getting beyond the motivational poster, what has this internal shift within yourself? Like, I am really going to honor and respect the people that are here busting their butt for me every day, that are taking care of me and taking care of my patients. What do your team members say to you? How do they show up in your relationship?
Wow, that's a really great question. And one of the things that I want to tell you, one of the greatest joys with working with my people here is every now and again, I'll come into my office and if you could see, they'll put random photos of random people in random places just to make me laugh. And I love it. And actually I keep them around, like on my phone, I've got a picture of one of my team members. And every time I pick it up, it just makes me giggle. And they're all over. They've, taken over my family pictures and they put little pictures of themselves in them. And so we do that. We do that for each other. I never ask them to clock out when they don't have a patient. I never ask that of a hygienist. I think that's disrespectful. If for some reason myself or my partner go on vacation, they are free to work. There's plenty of things to do, and I will pay them if we're gone for listening to podcasts. I will pay them for watching PDA classes. I will pay them for doing spear.com or speareducation.com. I will pay them for all those things. When they're down, they have a patient and they're laughing a little bit in the lab room. I don't interrupt that. I am great. Every time I hear that, I am so happy that they have that with each other, that they're there for each other. The closer they are with each other, the smoother it's all going to it's going to run. And then, I will listen to them. I'm not meant to be their friend, but I am more than happy to be a shoulder to cry on. And so we gain trust. And, we do these meetings every 90 days, 30-minute check-ins. Well, they're not really 30 minutes, but 90-day, 1-hour check-ins. And it's an honor for me to do that, to find out what they love about work, about life, what suggestions they have. And then we celebrate, right? And one way that we celebrate is when we went to the PDA conference in December. I had 5 of us going for the tuition and for the coursework. And then I flew out 3 other team members just for the night. So we would go out and have fun and have some dinner together. And so they flew from Chicago to Dallas for a night, and it was on us. And imagine what does that do for the way they work together? What does that do for the way that I work with them, the way that they work with me? We just carry each other. And actually, the greatest compliment that came from my my patient concierge, Yirda, and she's talking about some drama in her family, and gosh, there's so many women here. I wonder why we don't have any drama here, but we don't. We just don't have drama.
That's amazing. Dr. Maggie, we could go on for another hour and a half, I'm sure, but we're going to leave on that high note. This is how you create a drama-free work environment. And I tell you, being a healthcare provider today, building an investment grade practice, we do know that stress is the number one killer of productivity and lives. So wherever you can de-stress and bring joy and bring light. And thank you for showing us that simple but powerful switch of how you attract the right people, thinking of it as your opportunity to advertise through core values, not just through days of the week and hourly rate of pay. Unbelievable. Thank you, Maggie.
You're very welcome. Thank you for having me.
If people want to reach out and connect with you, what's the best way?
The best way for them to get a hold of me is Dr. Maggie, DrMaggie at myhappytooth.com is my email. Or if you just put my name, Maggie Augustyn, into Google, you can find some of my articles on dentistry today in my column Mindful Moments, or you can find me on Facebook.
I love it.
Thank you.
And you could find us both in the Dental Entrepreneur Women community.
That's right.
It was such an honor to share the cover with you last spring. That was amazing.
That was amazing. It's framed in my house.
So as you're on your journey, creating time and space and special moments for yourself and your friends and your team members, remember Maggie's advice of be the shoulder for your team to lean into. Thank you, Maggie.
Thank you.
Hello, Reagan Robertson here from Productive Dentist Academy. Do you ever have that nagging feeling that you deserve more? More case acceptance, more time with your family, more profit without sacrificing excellent patient care? I have great news for you. You can join your favorite PDA podcast hosts, Dr. Chad Johnson, Dr. Bruce B. Baird, Dr. Victoria Peterson, and myself at a PDA productivity workshop in 2023. This is full immersion CE, where we give you the resources and tools you desire so you can align your team, streamline your systems, and consistently produce more without raising your fees and without more time in the chair. This is the nation's #1 dental business course, and the best part is this program guarantees your dental practice growth. We have 2 events in 2023, March 2nd to the 4th and September 28th to the 30th. Fair warning, these events fill quickly. March is already half full as I record this, so grab your registration today. If you have to have it right now, you can email directly Brent, BRENT, at productivedentist.com to save your seat. And hurry, these events fill fast.
Thank you for tuning in to this episode of Investment Grade Practices Podcast. If you find value in this episode, help us spread the word by passing it along to a dental friend, subscribe, and give us a like on iTunes or Spotify. Learn more about building your investment grade practice at productivedentist.com today.